Hey everyone! So today what I'm going to talk about, kind of to continue rolling with the carb topic that we mentioned in a recent video, is the keto diet and understanding how that works and what that should look like. So, the first thing to understand about keto is what ketosis is and what the whole concept behind the keto diet actually is. So ketosis is a perfectly normal and natural metabolic state. It is what happens when your carb intake is depleted and your body starts to rely on fat for energy. So the idea there is that if you're in ketosis long enough, you will theoretically burn all of your fat, and then your body's going to gravitate toward your fat stores for energy rather than carb stores. And if you're not bringing in any carbs, you're not going to store them as fat. So that's the whole concept behind it. So from that, you can see that it is natural. It's a perfectly normal state, and it's something that our body goes into naturally. The purpose of the keto diet is actually to kind of force your body to go into that state more often or for whatever duration of time that you want. Typically the keto diet is very, very low carb. I believe it's usually 20 grams of carbs. If not, I'll confirm that and put that in the bottom of the video. And then very, very high fat intake and protein. So that way your body is less likely to store anything. One of the main reasons that people do keto is because they view it as, okay, this is going to shock my system so that I'll drop this fat really quickly. And those people are right. It does shock your system. However, the misconception that is rampant in the fitness industry that shocking your body and shocking your system is the best way to do something is misguided is a strong word, but it's not the best approach, because as you may remember when we touched on stress in the carb video, but when you shock your system, what's happening is you're putting very, very sudden physical stress on your body, and physical stress means a peak in cortisol production, and a peak in cortisol production means an increase of fat storage. Now, when you're in ketosis, that might not happen. But again, the moment you decide that you're done with the keto diet or you want to ease back out of it, it's going to be very, very difficult if you've been in that state for too long. So just keep that in mind when you're deciding if keto is right for you. So, if you recall the carb video where we talked about the impact of a low carb diet on the body and what effect that has on plateauing, on weight loss, and on stress, you might be able to see that there could potentially be a drawback to the keto diet. The keto diet is not something that I'm going to say you shouldn't do, depending on who you are, but I will say it's something that is not really ideal for everyone. It is a very intensive way to handle weight loss. So for people that are highly competitive or professional athletes or bodybuilders, and they really, really need to make sure that every last bit of fat is dropped off, it makes perfect sense. However, if you're just trying to lose weight and keep it off, the keto diet might not be the best choice for you. The first thing to understand, if you saw the carb video, is that when your body is depleted of carbs, it starts to affect how you metabolize food. And it starts to affect how your body understands the fuel that it's bringing in and what it wants to do with it. So with the keto diet, though you are gravitating toward burning fat more than carbs, if you recall the carb video, we talked a little bit about efficiency and your body's ability to effectively use the fuel that you're providing it and use it in the best way. You may remember that we also mentioned that your body prefers carbs as an energy source because they are the fastest. So if you are doing something intensive, carbs are going to be the best way to get through that. So the keto diet is, even if you're on the keto diet and you might not feel it, the keto diet is going to affect your performance after a while because you do not have enough of your fast-acting energy source to pull from to produce the power or to do your sprints or to run a little bit faster. So you're sacrificing a little bit of performance efficiency. You're also sacrificing a little bit of metabolic efficiency. So the problem with keto right now is that it has become something that people are adopting as a lifestyle diet, and that's not really its ideal function. Its ideal function is to be a very, very short-term span. So something for 3 or 4 weeks at most. If you can get into ketosis fast enough, maybe only a week or 2. But it's meant to be something that forces your body into that metabolic state, but then you come back off of it. So it's just kind of to get the ball rolling. Again, I want to point out though, this is really only necessary if you are doing something where you need to drop as much fat as possible very, very quickly. So again, bodybuilders, athletes, wrestlers, things like that. Anyone else, there are other ways to do essentially the same thing. For example, if you're trying to stimulate your body's likelihood to burn fat over carbs, doing low intensity exercises and working on your stress management are going to be the best ways to do that, because both of those are going to get your heart rate to a low enough level, and then your body's going to gravitate toward the easy energy sources like fat. Something that doesn't have to be quick, but something that produces a little bit more energy. So that's a way for most people to naturally do it and to sustain it. One thing that I want to be clear about is this is not my way of saying don't do keto at all. Just make sure it's actually right for you and make sure you're doing it the right way. Remember that it's not something that's meant to be lifestyle, and it's not for everyone. It can result in a great deal of rebounding. So because your body has completely shifted how it processes food, the moment you start to reintroduce carbs, you're going to send your body into shock, and it's going to do not only what it was doing before, but it's going to amp it up because it doesn't know how to handle those fuel sources anymore. So if you're already on keto, or you have watched this video and you've decided that keto is right for you, make sure you're following the right steps when you're through with that phase of keto and when you're cycling out of keto, to make sure that you're taking the safest steps. So 1, do not go from your keto carb intake back to your normal carb intake overnight. It needs to be done very, very slowly, and it needs to be done by way of complex carbs and slowly digesting carbs. For example, if I went into ketosis, if I was down to 20 grams of carbs a day, the moment I decided to come out of that, I would not stop doing keto on Sunday and then on Monday go back to my normal carb intake. I would have to go from 20 grams to 30 grams for a few days, to 40 grams for a few days, and a little bit at a time to back myself into it. The other thing with keto is the moment you introduce those carbs, more likely than not, your sugar cravings are going to peak, and you need to be able to manage those. So that was a very brief overview of what ketosis actually is, what the keto diet does or could do to your body. So I hope from watching this you feel a little bit more educated about the potential effects of the keto diet and are a little more well equipped to decide if it's something that's right for you and if it's something that fits your lifestyle temporarily. And now you should know how to back yourself back out of it. If you enjoyed this video, please, please, please subscribe down below. Thank you. Bye.